There's 7 steps to finding a manufacturer and getting your product manufactured using Alibaba.com. The first step is to search for suppliers, and I'm going to show you the secrets on how to find the best manufacturers on Alibaba.com. The second step is to identify the best suppliers, the best manufacturers, and there's some really key things that you should be looking for when trying to decide which manufacturer you're going to go with, and I'm going to share that later in this video. The third step is to get samples of your product, because once you've narrowed it down to the top 3 to 5 manufacturers that you want to work with, you want to get a sample to make sure that they have high quality products. Step 4 is to negotiate. I'm going to show you how you can cut your cost of your products in half. There's some amazing negotiating techniques that I've learned that I'm going to share with you later in this video. Step 5 is to place the order, and a lot of people are afraid about sending money to overseas manufacturing companies, but you don't have to worry. I'm going to show you how you can send money to these companies without having anything to worry about. Step 6 is to get your products inspected. I'm going to share with you how you can get your products inspected for extremely inexpensive, and this is going to guarantee that you don't get scammed, that nothing bad happens. A lot of people are worried about that, but I'm going to show you how to avoid any kind of problems when ordering from Alibaba.com. Step 7 is to get your product shipped from the manufacturer overseas into the Amazon warehouse, and there's a few different ways to do this. I'm going to share with you a complete guide on how to get your product shipped over from your manufacturer to the Amazon warehouse. And right now is the perfect time to start, because each year in March, that's when manufacturers and suppliers start onboarding new products. And usually during this time is when conventions happen, but obviously there's no in-person conventions happening right now. So Alibaba is having its March Expo, which is the biggest new products expo on earth. There will be over 1 million top quality new products being showcased. Alibaba.com will also be introducing a new section called Trendy Hunter. And this is where Alibaba is going to use its data as well as internet trends to announce the top 10 new products in every category. Now here's a secret. What I recommend doing is taking those top trendy products and using that as inspiration to either make a better product or try to come up with something completely different in that same niche. I do not recommend just copying those products, private labeling those products, and selling those exact products, but this is a great opportunity to use Alibaba's data to figure out what are people going to be buying in the next year. During the expo, there's also going to be a free summer product sourcing guide. And Alibaba.com is really pushing this March Expo hard. They're giving out a huge discount on a bunch of different things, as well as free shipping and a bunch of other benefits I'll list out here. And before we get into all 7 steps of how to find your manufacturer with Alibaba.com, one thing I want to mention is a lot of people are nervous about buying products using Alibaba.com, but one thing they're doing to combat that is they're really trying to focus on high quality suppliers, high quality manufacturers. And at the March Expo, they're going to announce the Elite Partner Event. And this is a new event where the top manufacturers and top suppliers every month are going to be sharing all their new products, all the new things that they have to offer. And these elite partners have unique capabilities, things like industry-leading, patented technologies, and a bunch of other capabilities that a lot of other manufacturers don't have. But now let's get into the first step, which is to find a supplier. And throughout this video, I'm going to use the term supplier and manufacturer interchangeably. Now, I recommend finding someone that's going to create a unique product for you. Do not just find a manufacturer or a supplier off Alibaba.com and private label their product. In the past, that used to work. In the past, people would go to Alibaba.com, find a bunch of junk products, slap their brand on it, and try to sell that on Amazon. Now what I recommend doing instead is to contact the different manufacturers, suppliers on Alibaba's website and to actually ask them, hey, can you customize this product? Can you improve this product? I'm going to show you an example of that right here. But a mistake a lot of people make is they think of Alibaba.com as just being people that can supply already existing products. That's not the case. A lot of these people have the ability to manufacture something completely unique for you. Now, what you want to do is you want to find people that are already making products similar to the product you're making and ask them if they can change it up. For instance, for this video, I'm going to use an example of a product that I co-created with a student in my course. We partnered up on this product called Cocktail Cards, and it's basically a set of 100 flashcards showing people how to create unique cocktails. So what we did is we went to Alibaba.com and we typed in here flashcards. Obviously, we're not going to type in cocktail cards because no product like that already exists, but there are already people that are selling flashcards, and we're going to click search. And you can see there's all these different products here that you can buy. And you can buy these products in bulk. You can buy 1,000 of this exact product. But what you can do instead, and what I recommend doing, is instead of doing products, click on suppliers. And what this is going to do is instead of showing you all the different products available on Alibaba.com, it's going to show you all the different suppliers. Because right now, let's see, this product right here, it's made by this supplier. And you can see that there's probably going to be some repeat. Like this supplier was listed twice because they have this product and they also have this product. by instead changing it to suppliers of flashcards, we get a list of all the different suppliers, and it focuses on their ability to manufacture products, to supply products, as opposed to the individual products. So it'll give you right here the 3 different products that they're offering. And we can see here's the company that we saw in the previous search results. Now, a lot of people are scared that they're going to get scammed, that they're going to overpay, or they're going to get bad quality products. But I'm going to show you what to look for in a manufacturer to make sure that nothing bad is going to happen, or at least lower your chances of something negative happening drastically. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Travis. I've done over $5 million in e-commerce sales, and I've also helped a lot of other people start their Amazon FBA businesses. So I know what to look for, I know what to watch out for, and I'm going to share all those details with you in this video. To start with, one of the first things I like to do is I like to click up here, trade assurance. I like to make sure that the suppliers that are being shown have trade assurance. And the way trade assurance works is basically Alibaba is guaranteeing that nothing bad is going to happen with your manufacturing process, that you're not going to get scammed. And the way it works, I believe, is that Alibaba.com actually holds some of the money to make sure that if anything goes wrong, you can get the money back. So I like to click that because that really drastically lowers the chance of something going wrong. I also like to click this verified little button right here because what this does is it only shows manufacturer suppliers that have been verified. And the way that a manufacturer gets verified is someone from Alibaba.com or a third-party inspection company actually goes over into their warehouse, into their manufacturing facility, and verifies that they're a real company, a legitimate company. And let me put it this way, any manufacturing company that's willing to sign up for trade assurance, that's willing to get verified, they're probably a legit company. They're probably not trying to do anything shady. But we want to make sure when we're working with someone that everything is going to go as smoothly as possible. So here's some other things to look for. Another thing I like to look for is how many years have they been in business? This company's been in business for 8 years. This one's been in business for 13 years, 7 years. And if they've been on there for that long, the chances are that they are a legitimate company, a reputable company. They're not going to try to make some quick cash by scamming somebody. Another thing I like to look at is how many transactions have they had in the last 6 months. This one's had 166 transactions, which is pretty good. 90 transactions, 47 transactions. You can even see their total revenue. Their total revenue is $2.5 million to $5 million. So if you're placing an order for a few $1,000s, they have their reputation on the line, as well as years worth of good standing with this website. They're probably going to work with you and they're going to probably try to make sure that you are happy. Another thing you can do here is look at their top 3 markets. What markets are they selling their products to? And 50% of all the business that this company does is in North America, which means that they're probably used to working with Americans or Canadians most likely, which means they're probably used to working with people that are English speakers. They also work with 15% of Western Europe, which means that they're used to producing high quality products. Because what I find is in North America and Western Europe, we want high quality products. And if it's not high quality, we're going to send it back. And this company's done a lot of business with North America, with Western Europe. So they probably make high quality products. They also probably have pretty good English. They're probably used to working with people that speak English. You can also look at their country/region that their manufacturer is located in. This one is in China. A lot of these ones are in China because that's a good place to get products produced for relatively inexpensive. But on Alibaba.com, they also have all kinds of different countries. They have India, they have Vietnam, they have manufacturing companies from all over the place. Now, if you are looking to get a product produced in the United States, I did this video, I'll link up here, which I recommend checking out because Alibaba.com is more for purchasing products that are made internationally, which, let's be honest, it's a lot cheaper to produce a product overseas than it is right now in the United States. When searching for a manufacturer, you really want to make sure you get the best one possible. And so what I recommend doing as well is looking at the main products that each manufacturer creates. And you want to make sure that they specialize in whatever product you're trying to create. So we're creating a set of flashcards, and this company does book printing, box printing, notebook printing, paper bag printing, card printing. Okay, so they do specialize in card printing. Let's look at some other ones here. We have gift box, suitcase box, stationary item, jigsaw puzzle. That's not really exactly what we're looking for. They don't even have any kind of card printing on here. This one, packing box, ring binder, game box. It's loosely related, maybe not perfect. Playing cards. Okay, so this one has playing cards, so they could probably do something like flashcards. And what I recommend you do as you're looking through all these different manufacturers, on the ones you like, click on the favorites tab. And so far my favorite company has actually been this top one. Now, I'm just doing a quick tutorial video here. Normally what I would do is I would go through all these different manufacturers, all these different suppliers. Look, there's 34 pages worth. if you're trying to get a product manufactured, you want to make sure that you have the best possible manufacturer that you're working with. So take the time to really go through here and look at every single one. But let's dive in a little bit deeper. What you can actually do, if you click on the name of the company, you can see even more information about the manufacturer. Now, before I get into this, one thing I want to note is you can tell a lot about a company based on their name. For instance, a lot of times these companies have the name of the city where they're located. So this one is located in Shanghai, and it's Stone Doing Industry Company Limited. So what we can tell is it's located in Shanghai, which is a good thing. You want to look for companies that are located close to the ocean or close to a port, because it's going to be cheaper for you. Because if they're located in the middle of China, it's going to be really expensive for you to ship your product from the middle of China to a port so that it can go across the ocean via a ship. It's just more expensive if it's in the middle of China. So we have Dongguan, which I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. But another thing you want to look for is, look at this company's name is Printing Products Manufacturing Co., which is a good thing because that means their entire company is around printing products and manufacturing products. So they might, even though they don't put as their main products exactly what we're talking about, we know that at least they specialize in printing, where this company right here, it's called Bonroy Cultural Creativity Co. It's very broad. We don't really know what that means. Obviously, we can dig a little bit deeper by clicking here and looking at some other things. Now, one thing I will mention is they have a 4.9 out of 5, which is a really good sign. That means that most people that work with this company are really satisfied. You can also look at video, and you can look at different pictures of their warehouse, which I would recommend doing. Make sure that they actually have the machines to produce the products. You want to make sure they're not just a middleman, because sometimes through Alibaba.com, you're going to work with people and it turns out someone else actually manufactures the product, they buy it from them and resell it. We can go down here and there's a ton of other information right here. We can look at some of their main products and see if it fits with what we're doing, and I think it pretty much does. You can also look at the production flow and see the raw materials to cutting, plate making, printing, detecting, everything. They got it all. You can look at what production equipment they have. Now this is really helpful because you can see, do they actually have the stuff to create the products that you're trying to create? And in the future, if you want to work with a different manufacturer, you can say, hey, do you have a plate making machine? Do you have a sample printing machine? Do you have all these different machines? Because this is what's needed to produce my product. Now, these machines are pretty standard, pretty easy. Most manufacturing companies would have them. And if you keep scrolling down, there's so much information right here, all the different transactions, the total amount of transactions they've done. So what we'll want to do is we're going to want to go back here and we're going to want to click on everyone that we think is a good option. We're going to want to click on them, do a deeper dive, make sure that they are a really good company. And for all the ones that we want to potentially work on, we want to hit favorites here. Now, before I move on to the next step, which is all about identifying the best suppliers, Alibaba.com is announcing an elite partner program and elite partner events. And this is perfect for people that are looking for the highest quality manufacturers possible. And this is going to be a group of vetted suppliers, manufacturers from all over the world. And this is a great way to get a competitive edge because you'll be able to see all the different elite partners in one spot. And the cool thing is Alibaba.com is going to be updating this every month with new products, new suppliers, all kinds of great information to help you get the competitive edge. And only manufacturers that meet all this criteria are going to be allowed to be part of this program. So they're highly vetted. And if you don't want to waste a lot of time going through 34 pages worth of different manufacturers, this is a good little shortcut to show you who are the best manufacturers out there that you can work with. But eventually, you want to move on to step 2, which is to find the best supplier. So how do you do that? Well, the way to find the best supplier is to, first off, narrow it down. There's probably hundreds of different companies here. Yeah, more than hundreds of different companies that you can work with. What I'd recommend doing is start a spreadsheet. Go through and list out all these different companies and decide what are the top 3 to 5 companies that you want to work with, and then contact them. And you could contact more. If you want, you can contact 20, 30, 40 different companies, but I like to try to narrow it down as much as possible first, and then you contact them. I'll put a link down below with a sample template that I would use to contact them. But what you can do that's going to save you a lot of time is let's just say we wanted this one. We can star it. We can put it as our favorites. And what this is going to allow us to do is we can star some of our favorite ones here, and we can go through and we can actually group them, and we can contact all these people at once, because the next step would be to contact all the different companies. So we're going to go up to favorites here. We're going to click on view all items, and then we can click on suppliers here, and you can see here are the different ones that we have added together. And click on all of them and we can click contact supplier. That way we can send one message out to all these different companies. And we're gonna, and again, I'll put a link down below with a sample template of what you should send to your manufacturer. But basically what you're gonna say is, first off, introduce yourself just like you would in any other email, and tell them exactly what the product is that you're looking for, and tell them the size, the dimensions, tell them how many units you're gonna order. Now, here is a little pro tip. If you're looking to just start with a production run of 500 units, you don't need to start with that. Tell them we're looking to do a production run of 10,000 units, 5,000 units, whatever, like a really big number. And then after some back and forth, you can say, okay, this is great, the pricing looks good, but we'd like to start with a test run of 500 units. Now, they may change the price, but they may not. They may, after the back and forth, they may just go ahead and keep that original price. So this is a really good negotiating tactic, because a lot of times they don't want to work with smaller companies, but by saying we want to do a production run of 5,000 units, they're maybe more likely to work with you. And here's the truth. In my opinion, you're not being deceitful, because you do want to do a production run of 5,000 units eventually. And your first 500 unit is a test run. You're testing out the market. And the truth is, you want your business and you want your product to be as successful as possible. And if it is, of course, you're going to eventually order 5,000 units. So don't think of this as being by any means like deceitful. So you'll paste in here whatever message you want to send to them, the exact specifications, and you will send the inquiry to those people. Now, a warning, Alibaba.com's messaging service can be really slow. And the reason for that is they might only check it once a day, but then with the time delay, it might take a few days before you get responses, and everything slows down. So what I'd recommend doing is moving people over to WhatsApp, WeChat, or Skype as soon as possible from Alibaba's.com's messaging service. And this will allow you to communicate a lot faster, because a lot of times you can say, hey, let's meet at this time and let's just have the full-on conversation, ask a bunch of questions back and forth, maybe even do a Zoom call or a Skype call, or a call on WhatsApp or WeChat, or whatever different service you want. Again, think about this as a funnel. You're gonna start with a really big list, hundreds of different manufacturers that you find on the website, narrow it down to the top 20, 30, 40 that you actually wanna contact. Of those people, narrow it down to the top 2 to 3 that you want to purchase a sample from. And this brings us to point number 3 in the next step, and that is to purchase a sample from the manufacturers that you actually think you want to work with. Now, the way this is going to work is usually they will give you the sample for free. You'll have to pay for the shipping, but it really depends. If your sample is something really customized, they may charge you for it. For instance, with vino cards and cocktail cards, our manufacturer wanted $200 to $300 for a full printed sample. And the reason for that is they don't want to do all this work and basically us just to take this product and be like, hey, cool, thanks. It's really expensive for them to manufacture that type of a custom product, so they charge a decent amount of money. Now, if it's an off-the-shelf product, something that they have tons of samples of, they'll send it to you for free. You just got to pay shipping. Now, the trick with that is shipping from anywhere international, China, India, Vietnam, to the US can be really expensive. It's going to be $25, $35 or so, depending on the size of the product. I recommend going usually with DHL. You can also look at FedEx, and there's some other services as well. Sometimes they can even get everything ready for you and send it over, but expect to be paying around $25 to $45 or so just for shipping the product. So even though the sample is free, you're going to have to spend some money, but it's worth it. Get as many samples from as many different manufacturers as you can early on, because this is one of those things, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. You don't want to skimp on the samples and then end up getting the final product and find out it's of poor quality. You want something that's of really high quality, and you're going to see different manufacturers have different levels of quality, and a lot of times that's why there's different prices. Now, another thing you can do is, let's say you find one manufacturer, they have the best quality, but they also have the highest price. You can say, hey, look, I really like your product, but it's just cheaper with this other guy. Can you negotiate? So when negotiating, and that's going to be step number 4, make sure that you actually do this. Make sure that you actually negotiate with the people. You can leverage the other quotes that you're getting from the other different suppliers and say, hey, Bob over here is willing to do it for $5 a unit. You want $6. We like you better. Can you meet the same price that Bob is doing? And if they can't, then you have to decide, is it worth the extra money for the higher quality? And the answer is usually yes, but it really depends. Remember, you don't want products that are going to have high defect rates. You want to make your customer happy. You want on Amazon to have the best product possible. Also remember that you're building a relationship with this person. It has to be a win-win. If you're trying to take advantage of them and just get the lowest price, they're gonna feel that, and it's not gonna lead to a long-term successful relationship. One of the keys to having success in business is you're developing these relationships, and you wanna make this person happy. You wanna get to know them. Ask them about their family, ask them about their life in whatever country that they're in. Try to actually build a connection and build a deep relationship. And what's gonna happen is they might be able to pull strings for you that they wouldn't for other people. And once you've negotiated with your manufacturer, then the next step is to actually pay them for the production run. Now, different companies will accept different forms of payments. One way you can see what forms of payment that they accept is by looking at the products that they sell, and it'll show the different forms that they accept. Now, every company is going to accept wire transfer, but a wire transfer is very scary because when you send a wire transfer, you can't get the money back. You can't call your credit card company. You can't call the bank and say, hey, I want that money back. It's gone. It's gone forever. Now, one way to avoid this issue is, first off, again, if they're on Alibaba.com, they probably are fairly trustworthy. What you're going to want to do is send 30% of the wire up front and then hold off on sending the other 70% until you've gotten the product inspected. But another thing you can do is PayPal. You can use PayPal, you can use Alipay, you can use all kinds of different, sometimes you can even use credit cards. So let's click on one of these products here and see what forms of payment that they accept. Now, a lot of times if you're going to be using PayPal or credit card or some other form of payment that's a little bit more secure, you're going to have to pay higher fees, because if they accept PayPal, there's transaction fees and you're going to have to pay for those. So this company accepts Visa, MasterCard, they accept online transfer, Apple Pay, Western Union. They accept a lot of different things. They even use Alibaba.com freight, which is another thing we can talk about in a future video. So that makes me feel a little bit more secure. Sending, I could pay with Visa, and then if there's an issue, I can call up my credit card company and get my money back. Now, again, they're probably gonna do an upcharge for that. It's probably gonna be a 3% upcharge. So eventually, once you work with them a few times, you can start doing a wire transfer, which will probably save you some money. But as I mentioned, you only want to give 30% up front and save the other 70% until later, until after you get the product inspected, which is step number 6, is to get your product inspected. And there's a lot of different inspection companies out there that you can hire. But basically, it's going to cost you around $100 or so to have someone go to the manufacturer and inspect the product. I'll put a link down below. I believe the name is globalinspect.com. That's the company that I've been told many times is an amazing company. I actually personally have not used them yet, but I have a lot of friends that have, and they've all had great things to say about them. Alibaba.com even offers its own inspection services, and you can go under services into production monitoring and inspection services to find out more information. And that's a really easy option if you don't want to hire a separate company to do inspections for you. And it's around $118 for a full day's worth of inspection. And what happens is they end up sending you a report of your product. They check a bunch of the different random products to see, is the quality up to standards. You want to make sure that the barcode scans, because if it's a poor quality printing job, maybe the Amazon FN SKU won't scan, and that could cause problems down the road. But really what you're doing here is making sure that they actually produce the products that you said, and it's up to the quality standards that you need for your product. And once you get the go ahead, and you can start to arrange to ship your products from your manufacturer over to your Amazon warehouse, whether that's in the US or whatever country that you're in. And there's two main ways to ship your product from your manufacturer over to the Amazon warehouse. And that is either by air or by sea. And I recommend, if it's your first time, oftentimes you're just going to want to do it by air. It's so much faster, it's so much easier, but it is more expensive. Sea shipping is going to take so much longer. Usually air shipping is going to take 5 to 10 days. Sea shipping is going to take 4 to 6 weeks, maybe even longer. There's a much higher likelihood that you're going to have issues with sea shipping, because what happens is the ship goes from your manufacturer over to the US or whatever country you're in, and it might get stuck in the port, and there might be customs issues. Sometimes that happens too. Also keep in mind when you're thinking about shipping your product that you're going to have to pay a customs or a duty fee. Now, I have heard about people saying to their manufacturer, you know what, I know I paid you $6 a unit, but can we just say that I paid you $1 a unit? Now, I'm not advising to do this, but I've heard stories of people doing this to lower their customs and their duties fees. This won't work if you're doing large volumes, but if you're only doing a 500 unit or 1,000 unit run, It could be a tactic to save you some money. Maybe not the most ethical thing out there, but I'm just saying it again. I do not advise this, but it's something I've heard about people doing. Now, if you're gonna ship by sea, you're gonna wanna hire a freight forwarder 100%. It's gonna make it so much easier. And a freight forwarder is a company that arranges everything from you. They'll arrange a truck to go to the warehouse in whatever country that you're manufacturing the product in, pick it up, send it over to the docks where a ship and load it onto a ship, get it from the ship to cross over into your port, get it through customs, all those different things. And it's relatively inexpensive to do this. And then they'll get from the port, wherever your home country is, your home port, they'll organize a truck to come pick it up and get it to the Amazon warehouse. So you want to probably hire a freight forwarder to do that. I'll put a link down below with some different recommendations I have on freight forwarders. On the other hand, if you're going to be doing air shipping, you can go with DHL. Usually they're the cheapest option. I've also at times used FedEx, I believe, and there's some other options as well, but DHL is usually the one that I go with. Now, something really important I want to remind you about is I do have a template for you to contact the different manufacturers on Alibaba. I do also have an Excel spreadsheet template for you to input all the different manufacturers, so it will help you decide basically what manufacturer to go with. And I also have contacts of freight forwarders and inspection companies that I didn't mention in this video, but you can get all that for free by clicking down below and joining my free Amazon FBA training program. It's 100% free. Just click here to join. It includes a bunch of amazing videos on step-by-step how to sell on Amazon, as well as you get to be part of this community that I'm creating to help people that want to start selling on Amazon. So click right here and I'll see you in the free Amazon FBA training program.